We're looking right now at
the podium where they've set up for either the prosecutors or the defense attorneys, someone from the trial, to step up and speak, which we will carry live with you as soon as we get it. But right now, it is just about 10:28 here on this Wednesday morning, and we are finding out that 3 of the 5 charges that Sean Diddy Combs was charged with by the federal prosecutors, he was found not guilty by the jury. The 2 charges were each on Cassie Ventura and Jane Doe. He was found guilty of transportation for prostitution, which is the lesser of the 5 charges. Each one carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. The others, there were a minimum of 15 and potentially life in prison.
Right. And right now, his attorney, Mark Agnifilo, is arguing with the judge to let Sean Combs walk out right this second. It's going to be interesting on what's going on. Arthur Sheehan is outside the courthouse. First of all, I imagine like every press outlet in the world is near where you are, Arthur. They want to see if Sean Diddy Combs is going to walk out in the next hour or so.
Yeah, they're not only here, but they're here in duplicate or triplicate, just like we are, right? Lisa Evers is here. She's inside covering the proceedings that you just described. I'm out here. Everybody has a lot of resources out here. You're looking across the street. This is the Worth Street side of the Southern District Federal Courthouse. This is in Lower Manhattan, right? And there are pens, as you can tell. There are people on ladders. That shot that you were just showing of the podium is on the other side of that. We have that obviously covered, as you saw from that camera shot there. And then there are hundreds of people out here. There is a tremendous element of public interest. So there are a lot of people. We rarely see this intensity of it. Even during Trump's trial here in New York, we didn't see this many regular citizens out here trying to get a look, trying to be involved. And they've lined the streets over there. This is going to be a very interesting security issue for the U.S. Marshals who are in charge of security over here. You talk about the podium. Certainly you would think no matter what happens now, Mr. Combs' lawyers are going to come out and speak, right? They're going to set the scene for whether he should be released, why they should win on appeal. That's going to happen. I don't think, I would be surprised, we'll be ready for it, but I'd be surprised if the prosecutors are going to speak here. They lost in 3 out of the 5 counts, and as you've been pointing out, those were the heavier counts in this. Now, traditionally, what has happened is the U.S. attorney would speak, and that would not happen here, and certainly not in this environment. They prefer controlled environments. They could do it at 26 Federal Plaza, which is about a 5-minute walk from where we stand right now. So this day is going to unfold in different places, is what we imagine. But right now, there's one gentleman. He's been screaming the whole time. We've been impressed by how he keeps going. But there are a lot of people who are going to have a reaction to this. Certainly, if Sean Diddy comes out of this building, it's going to get really interesting out here. But right now, everybody here is on standby and paying attention to what's happening in the courtroom upstairs.
And that's what his defense is arguing, Arthur, right now inside the courtroom, that he should be released today. They said they're willing to pay $1 million in bond, but that he should be allowed to leave the courthouse today and not wait later on in the sentencing. The prosecution, the federal prosecutors, are arguing the opposite, saying that they're downplaying the seriousness of the charges that he was convicted of. Just because they're the 2 charges that are the lesser doesn't mean they're still not serious, and that he could still be a flight risk. But his side obviously is arguing just the opposite, saying he has no passport.
Right.
Everybody knows where he is, what he's doing. He was convicted of the lesser charges, and he'll give you $1 million to let him out.
There have been reports that some of the people who testified against him really didn't want to testify against him, and now we're concerned if he's let out of jail.
So a lot to play out here, and especially with what we've heard over the last couple of weeks. I mean, this trial, this was going into week number 8. And we've heard so many different people testify about so many things, but the jury heard it and they saw what was going on in that courtroom. And it's really interesting to see that they seem to be in sync. Obviously, the jury agreed on everything, but when it came to trafficking, he did it with both.
Right.
When it came to, when he came to trafficking, he did not do it with both. When it came to transporting, he did it with both. So whatever the issue was, they agreed that he did it in both cases with both the Jane Doe and Cassie Ventura. And when they think he didn't do it, it wasn't like, well, he did it with her, but not her. They agreed in unison on both counts.
So just so you know, the prosecutor is still making a case in front of the judge right now about why Diddy should not be out on bail. The prosecutor said, quote, "There is a real risk that he will flagrantly disregard orders from the court," and he cited the drugs found in Sean Combs' hotel room before he was arrested last September.